Engines roared across the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya as the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix began. The crowd rose to its feet, waiting for the lights to go out. The moment the 5 red lights blinked off, the track exploded with action. Cars surged forward, each driver fighting to grab an early advantage. At the front, the leaders reacted instantly, holding their ground with perfect launches. Behind them, the midfield turned chaotic. Wheels touched, sparks flew, and the roar of the engines echoed through the grandstands. Into the first corner, tension reached its peak. Drivers braked hard, searching for the right line, while others looked for the smallest gaps to slip through. Some managed daring overtakes, while others were forced wide onto the run-off. The risk was high, but the reward was even higher in these opening seconds. Every move mattered. Every mistake could end the race before it truly began. The opening lap showed pure drama, speed, control, and nerves of steel. Fans cheered louder with every maneuver, sensing that this Grand Prix promised fierce battles ahead. From the very first turn, the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix had already proven it would be a fight to remember. Early overtakes. The opening laps of the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix were filled with daring moves and close battles. As the field settled into rhythm, drivers wasted no time in showing their aggression. Down the main straight, slipstreams became weapons, with challengers lining up behind their rivals before diving into turn 1. Some cars darted left, others right, each searching for an edge. The roar of the crowd grew as bold overtakes lit up the track. In the midfield, the fight was even fiercer. Drivers pushed wheel to wheel, brushing tires, leaving barely an inch of space. Each pass demanded precision, late braking, perfect timing, and nerves of steel. A single hesitation meant losing not just one spot, but several. The circuit echoed with cheers as rivals swapped positions corner after corner, never letting the other breathe. At the front, the leaders defended hard, knowing even the smallest gap could be their downfall. Fast exits out of corners became crucial, as every tenth of a second determined if an opponent would attack or retreat. The intensity of these early overtakes set the tone for the race. Fans could feel the story building. This was no calm beginning, but a battle from the very first laps. First pit stops. As the laps ticked by, attention shifted to strategy. Tires began to wear, and the battle on track turned into a chess game in the pit lane. Teams lined up their plans with perfect timing, knowing that 1 second lost could change the entire race. The first pit stops of the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix came quickly, with mechanics ready in flawless formation. Cars dived into the pits, screeching to a halt as crews leapt into action. Tires were swapped in mere moments, fueling was calculated to perfection, and in less than 3 seconds the cars were back on track. But those seconds were enough to shuffle positions. Some drivers gained places through undercuts, pitting earlier to get fresh grip and attack rivals as they rejoined. Others stayed out longer, gambling that worn tires could still hold off the chasers. The pit lane became its own battlefield. A small delay with a wheel gun, a momentary hesitation with a release, and positions were lost in a flash. Fans held their breath as leaders rejoined, the tension rising when cars merged side by side at pit exit. Strategy was now as important as speed, and the first round of stops proved decisive. The Spanish Grand Prix was no longer just about pace on the track, it was about perfect teamwork in the pits. Midfield battles. While the leaders fought at the front, the real war was raging in the midfield. Every corner of the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya turned into a battleground where drivers pushed limits lap after lap. Cars ran side by side through high-speed turns, with neither willing to lift off. Sparks lit up the track as underbodies scraped the asphalt, and the roar of engines blended with the cheers of fans watching fierce duels unfold. Drivers in the midfield knew every position counted. Each overtake was fought with raw determination, late braking into turn 10, aggressive dives at turn 1, and wheel-to-wheel runs through the long turn 3. The crowd gasped as tires brushed, leaving black marks on the racing line. Some battles stretched for multiple laps, with drivers switching places back and forth, refusing to surrender. Pit wall radios crackled with urgent messages, urging patience, but adrenaline was in control. The midfield was alive with constant movement, a place where experience clashed with bold young talent. One daring move could lift a driver into the points, one mistake could drop them to the back. This relentless fight in the heart of the pack made the Spanish Grand Prix unpredictable, thrilling, and impossible to look away from. Lead changes. At the sharp end of the race, the fight for victory erupted into a breathtaking duel. The 2025 Spanish Grand Prix saw the leaders pushing their machines to the absolute limit, trading the top spot with daring precision. Down the main straight, slipstreams became the key weapon. One car surged forward with DRS wide open, only for the other to fight back immediately into turn 1, braking later and reclaiming the lead. The grandstands roared with every switch, the atmosphere electric as fans witnessed pure racing at its finest. Through the sweeping corners, the tension only grew. Leaders defended fiercely, hugging the inside lines, forcing challengers to take the longer way around. But bravery rewarded the bold. Some lunged late into the braking zones, stealing positions by inches. For laps, the lead changed hands multiple times, each pass more dramatic than the last. Every lap at the front felt like the race could be decided then and there. The strategy, the tire wear, the pit calls, all seemed secondary when drivers stared each other down on track. This was not about waiting for the final laps, it was about striking whenever the smallest chance appeared. The Spanish Grand Prix had turned into a battle of pure willpower at the very front. Safety car moment. The intensity of the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix took a dramatic turn when chaos struck mid-race. A fierce midfield clash ended with carbon fiber flying across the circuit, forcing officials to call out the safety car. The yellow flags waved as marshals rushed onto the track, clearing debris while the field slowed into formation. The once roaring pace dropped instantly, but the tension only grew sharper. Drivers bunched up tightly behind the safety car, their tires cooling, their nerves heating. Radios crackled with urgent messages from pit walls. Some teams saw opportunity, others feared disaster. Those who had just pitted worried about losing hard-earned gains, while others planned daring strategies to take advantage of the pause. The safety car period was not just a break. It was a reset button for the entire Grand Prix. Fans held their breath as leaders prepared for the restart. Every driver knew that once the green flag waved again, it would unleash chaos. Restarts meant risk, late lunges, cold tires, and the perfect chance to snatch positions. The Spanish Grand Prix now balanced on a knife's edge, and the safety car had ensured the race would return with even greater drama. Last lap drama. The 2025 Spanish Grand Prix came down to a heart-stopping final lap. After nearly 2 hours of relentless racing, everything hinged on the last few corners. The leaders were separated by barely a car length, with the chasing pack close enough to strike if either made a mistake. Fans rose to their feet, the entire circuit buzzing with anticipation. Down the main straight, one final attack was launched. DRS opened, the car behind surged forward, and the leader defended the inside line with everything left in the tires. They went wheel to wheel into turn 1, sparks flying as neither lifted. Every corner became a battlefield, late braking, daring exits, and desperate lunges. The tension was unbearable. One slip, one lock up, and the race would be lost. Further back, the midfield still fought fiercely, trading blows even as the checkered flag neared. But all eyes stayed on the leaders, who carried their fight right to the final chicane. The crowd erupted as the cars crossed the line almost side by side. The Spanish Grand Prix had delivered a breathtaking finish, proving once again that the final lap can define legends. Winner and podium. As the checkered flag waved, the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix crowned its champion. The winning driver crossed the line with fists punching the air, releasing all the pressure of a relentless battle. Cheers thundered through the grandstands, fans waving flags and chanting as the victor slowed down for the cool-down lap. Behind, the podium finishers followed, each exhausted yet proud after giving everything on track. On the podium stage, the atmosphere was electric. The winner stepped up to the top step, raising the trophy high under the Spanish sun as confetti rained down. The national anthem echoed across the circuit, adding emotion to a moment of triumph. Second and third place joined in, their faces a mix of respect and determination for future races. Every handshake carried the weight of fierce competition and shared endurance. Champagne bottles popped, spraying over drivers, crews, and cheering fans. Mechanics who worked tirelessly embraced each other, their strategy and speed rewarded. For the winner, it was a day to remember. A hard-fought victory against rivals who never gave an inch. For the Spanish Grand Prix, it was a race that gave the world a story of drama, passion, and glory.